Hello there, folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tallest Guy. We are back today looking at a map that we were working on maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Could have even been longer at this point. This is one of the maps that we're putting together for our early bird backers for the Kickstarter that goes live next Tuesday. So if you do want this map, you'll get it cheaper than anybody else will. Technically, I guess if you really wanted to look at it, you'd get it for free if you back on Kickstarter, because you're getting more maps for less money. So it's kind of a win-win for you. This is a map that we're calling Dragonhenge. We've got this, kind of Stonehenge-y kind of look of stuff up here, and we're building the mountainous path that goes up to it. And we're doing something a little bit different than we usually do, because typically we just use whatever, cliff assets they make available to us. And instead what we're doing is, you'll see we've got a bunch of clip masks that we're using. So all over the place now, we're putting together these clipping masks to kind of hide the fact that these are rocks, and instead making them look like cliffs, because we use the same 2 cliffs basically in every map. So this is just to kind of give us a little bit more to work with. So let's keep on working on it. Let's do, I'm going to shift this around too, because we're going to build our path up like this. So we're going to put these up there like so. And we're still kind of limited by the fact that there's only, like the 3 of these types of cliffs, but we should still be able to do a decent amount with it. We got plans. My allergies are like really screwy today, so I apologize for sniffling a lot and stuff like that, but hopefully it won't bother people too much. Alright, so we did the front half of it over there. We're going to do the back half over here. So right now, like, everything looks hideous, but it'll be hidden by the fact that these things will be covered by the clipping masks. So everything should be okay. And actually what we'll do is we'll leave that little bit there. Now if we use the kind of softer clipping masks, we should be able to accentuate these where we need to. Oh, I got stuff that I wasn't aiming for, so let's scooch that back. It was cold enough today where we didn't have to really use the air conditioner or the fan or anything, so it's almost like weirdly quiet. But that's okay. Okay, so we're going to keep on doing this. So you'll notice that as I'm putting this down, it's not doing anything to affect the other rocks that we already placed, and that's because they're on a higher layer. So the clipping masks work just like everything else, dependent upon where you're putting the layer. It's going to affect the things underneath it. So we're using the soft kind of stuff because it'll help us to blend things in as we go. I'll tell you what though, it is really struggling. If we run into problems with like all these clipping masks, and we know that we're going to do similar stuff like this in the future, what we might do is use the laptop computer that I have, because I feel like that struggles a little less when it comes to things like this. Keep that where it was, but maybe shrink it down a little bit over here. Okay, and now we're just going to work on a lot of these edges. Okay, so you can definitely see, like, you still have the kind of like craggy outside look of things. but it helps you to kind of blend in this path a little better. And it'll definitely help when it comes to stuff like this. I wonder if in the future they'll have like a better way to spot the clipping masks, because it's very tough to, like, as a creator, notice where these are. Okay, and right there is where it ends up looking nice, because now those cracks on the outside come through. So again, this is going to be one of our bonus maps for our day one backers. We're only doing that for one day. That's Tuesday the 15th. So if you do want to get 60 maps for the price of 50, which is, for, already at a pretty ridiculous price, you want to make sure that you're there day one to take advantage of that. And like, that looks really nice, the way that that's all coming together. And then you'll see that the path cuts over this way. So let's grab this cliff over here, assuming that is the cliff. Yep. And we'll keep things going. So this one is at -3. Everything else was at -2, I believe. Yep. Okay, so let's grab 3 again. And we'll... Ooh, I got the clipping mask that time. Because I guess we did kind of bring it down a little bit, so I don't have to go too crazy. And let's connect these two this way so that we're not using the same rock types over and over and over again. Blend that together. I think what we'll do is, since we got a decent amount of space over here, maybe what we'll do is we'll have it kind of come together down there. So that part was that way. Again, just trying to make sure that we're not like overdoing the same style. Nope. One of you has to go. Okay, so we have the flat side. Do it like that instead. So right now everything looks pretty dismal, but we're going to put these together a little bit nicer when we get the opportunity to add some more like brush techniques and stuff like that. Up here we've got like a lot of flats, so let's cut this over to the side. And we'll do something more like that little rounded bit right there. I'm trying to be cognizant of like where we're going to put this though, because I want to make sure that the player has enough path to work with. Let's start working on that now, just to make sure that we got everything that we need. And that we're not putting things where they ought not be. Right, I put it there and it's not affecting the next level up. So we're okay there. I'll tell you what, we're working with a little less space, so let's bring the clipping mask down. If we need to, we'll layer them. Working our way through. And you see, like, there was that gap, and now it's no longer there. Like, this does make for some pretty friendly styling. And we're putting this together as one of the bonus maps, but as you can tell, it's not really one map, it's two. You know, it's twice the size that we usually work with, but we'll bundle them together as part of that bonus. I'd rather just put two there. Okay, that's looking good. Keep on moving some of it over here. Maybe a tiny smidge there to better blend these two together. Keep things going. Okay, almost there, and then we have to figure out how we're going to open this up to kind of like the ground far below. Again, I think what we're going to do is kind of twist things so that it comes off this way, but we don't want it to just be open-ended like that. Let's grab this over here to make sure that we're on the right size kind of thing. 61 is still okay. If we need to, we can boot that down to -4, but we should be okay. So I'm going to try and see if like we can start to subtly shift it to like a more open position. So you can see this one's on the same layer as the clipping masks, but the clipping masks is going on afterwards, so we'll still have to kind of tweak some of that a bit. Okay, and actually let's play with that real quick just to see what we end up with. So we should be close. I just want to get rid of that little bit of a line there, and then we should be okay. Now again, right now you can kind of see where we're going with this, but it's going to blend even nicer once we have the textures working with each other. You can kind of see like some previews of how that looks up here with like the different techniques that we're using. But that was kind of like our trial, and now we're at the point where we're really working on cleaning this up. And when you have other things like other stones and rocks and stuff like that that's going to layer on top of these things, it'll look even nicer. on this side. See, the nice thing about using like this clipping mask technique is so many of these rocks are like exactly the same. Like you've only got 3 different kinds of these boulders, but you end up with like some nice blending that you wouldn't otherwise. And I'm sure you could use that with like the other cliffs as well if you wanted. It might need to be a little bit more precise because those, you know, that terrain is so limited. There's like so much like shaping to these ones, so you have a little bit more room to play. Let's grab the clipping mask one more time. I want to be subtle with it, but I don't want it to go away completely. Alright, we've got 170 changes, and these were not easy changes, so let's do a save real quick. And then when it comes back, we'll see what it looks like. We'll take a little bit better of a peek at things. While that is doing that, let's throw some stuff on the screen, see if it works. I know that map completed button doesn't work, but does that guy work? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I definitely need to reinstall the Stream Deck software. Okay, let's look at this real quick because I feel like we've got the same kind of style here, and I didn't notice that when we were first playing with it. So, well, you know what? It's going to fade in a little bit more when we play with some of the other stuff. All right, so we have the general shape that we want. Let's go into our brushes and we'll kind of tweak some stuff. So the other problem that we're going to have is you'll notice it doesn't work on the background, right? Because there's really no background there anymore. Everything is on the clipping mask layer. So what you would do instead is you're going to play with the foreground layer. Now I obviously don't need something that's that opaque. Let's get rid of everything else because I feel like this is just running really slow. And I don't think that it's Incarnate's fault. It is struggling a little bit, but all right, let's bring that down to like 40%. And then we'll start to do these kind of cliff edges. Oh man, it is rough. All right, let's do. We're going to completely wipe out that real quick. Don't mind my short stories that I was going to narrate. Let's go into our task manager real quick and see if there's anything that's running super duper slow. All right, according to this, we're clobbering the system with something. It thinks that OBS is doing a lot. OBS taking up so much space. Let's close some other stuff. All right, let's go back in. Hopefully it struggles a little less once we're in there. I don't have Photoshop going. There's nothing really weird like that going on. Let's close out some of these other windows. And I've had plenty of other maps that have like tons more items in it. Like the carnival map that we just worked on was huge. This is our sleepy dragon. Oh, it has a dead dragon. Different kinds of dragons for different reasons. Alright, so let's go back to our brush. Go back in here, bring it down to, again, 40 I think is a nice number. Then we'll mess with the brush size so that we're doing the edges of this area. Oh, foreground is important. I'm going to do it with the pen instead. See if it works any better. It looks like it's still struggling. Shouldn't be fighting that hard with me. We're going to select all those and we're going to lock these down. And maybe if they're locked, it'll be a little bit easier to mess with some of this stuff. Ah, man, it's still really struggling. I guess the clipping masks are hitting pretty hard. I'm gonna have to give up on doing this for the stream and just keep it for working off stream. Maybe we'll cut to another map if we can't do a lot of work here. And the only problem is, like a bunch of our other maps were waiting on some assets because we were trying to make them special. I mean, it's taken a while, but it's still coming up looking nice when it's done. Let's do a couple more taps there, and we'll start to work our way over here. A little bit more. Oh, you know what? That might not be taking because that's technically going to be on the background layer. Got like a nice blend of the clipping mask and the regular ground. So let's take our regular grass down here, and we should still be able to work on the background layer. Because down here is where we're going to get a little bit more greenery in place. I do want to kind of maintain some of that shape, that structure. And I don't want it to be super lush and green or anything like that. Maybe we'll have a little bit more down here. On working on that greenery. All right, and we'll work some more of it in up here. I think most of this should be able to work as background. We want this to be like a place that the dragons can kind of come and rest. So, whether it's permanently or otherwise. Alright, I've got 162 changes, so let's save it one more time. Again, hopefully it's going a little bit quicker now that we changed certain things that we were playing with. Is struggling. Keep doing a little bit more. Actually, let's do, yeah, we're going to do a little bit more over here. A bit here. And then let's go big. Kind of like a bigger sweep of the area. That way it'll blend nicely with what we just did. We missed a little bit here, but that might be because of clipping masks. So let's go to foreground. Yep, that's exactly what it was. Alright, so we got some greenery up there. Let's do a little bit more on that bottom layer down there. I feel like I'm not able to kind of control the blending as much as I want to, but in a way that's kind of okay because we don't necessarily want everything to always be dictated by the artist. Sometimes the world should tell you what it wants to be. All right, we got some decent stuff there. Let's do the gray ground, and we're going to bring that down to like 25%. Because I want this to be a little bit less than what we see up here. Let's bring it down to about there. To see it working. It is struggling. All right, let's leave that part for later then, because I don't want to mess with that if I can't really see what I'm working with. So we've got 2 dragons to test with. Let's try the sleepy dragon. I mean, he looks good in there. Let's do some stamps, because I feel like I can control the stamps a little better. We're gonna get like tufts of grass. So not the ones there. We're going to do the ones that we've gotten before in the regional area, I think. Yeah, these guys here. And then we might help these kind of dictate where more blending is going to go. And this will be nice to disguise certain things. Actually, let's get that dragon back, because it might be kind of cute to have. Maybe we can do this little tuft that we have. And then what we'll do is we'll just get rid of it when we're doing the other version, which is the dead dragon. A little bit too far. Scooch that up a smidge. And let's keep on doing these. But we want to make sure that they're, well, a little bit on top of them, probably isn't that bad. And then back here, we'll move it down a layer. So it'll look like he's kind of like laying on tufts of grass. He is going to be kind of our de facto starting. Let's go back to the background and we'll kind of make this look even more lush. Although, let's mess with the opacity first, I guess. Realizing that doesn't quite look dead centered, but maybe I don't care. Let's keep on getting these grass clumps. And let's see if we can. Clipping mask itself takes that away, unfortunately, so we won't be able to do too much there. We'll use it where we can. What about here? Same look? Yeah. You know what? Not necessarily. That kind of works. Oop. too shabby as far as that goes. Let's we'll cut it short today, just by a couple of minutes. Like I said, my allergies are kind of screwy today, so I don't want to overdo it. Let's go to our show closing page. So folks, on the screen right now, you should see all the places that you can find Tellest out there on the internet. Tellest.com is a great first place to start because that'll bring you to our other projects. You can see right on the sidebar of the Tellest website now, it'll bring you to our Kickstarter page. You can sign up if you want like a reminder on the day that we go live, or you can just go to the Kickstarter, check it out yourself. We have 3 premium places that you can find our maps. Patreon.com/Tellest is where you can sign up for just routine maps, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. We'll get those maps to you, and then you can download them as needed. They're pretty cheap. If you want to pay full price one at a time, sure, you can do that too. You can get them at DriveThruRPG. That's battlemapfantasy.com. It will bring you right to our publisher page. But if you want to get some really snazzy maps, we have the physical versions of the map over on Tellest.etsy.com. Definitely check them out. They look really nice. We'll be showing more of them for the Kickstarter because they just look so cool. They go like hotcakes at like live events. So we're excited to get that in front of people online for the first time, for a lot of people. We've got 2 TikTok channels that you should check out. TikTok.com/@WeirdWitchWands is where you can find Rihanna's stuff. TikTok.com/@TalesOfTellest is where you can find our doggies TikTok channel. Yeah, you definitely check that out. We did a crossover episode with Tales of Tellest earlier this Monday for Talking Tellest. The other 2 places that you can check out, youtube.com/@WorldOfTellest is where these videos go once Twitch knocks us off after the 30 days or whatever it is. Twitch.tv/ThatTellestGuy is the only place, though, that you can come see us live and see the maps as we're making them, and come up with suggestions, ideas, thoughts, that kind of stuff. That is going to wrap us up for today. I can already feel like my voice starting to go. Thank you for joining us, but we're going to take off for the next couple of days, and then I'll see you on Monday ahead of the big day. So until next time, let me see you.